So having looked at your affirmations, having dealt with your attitude, having made yourself the most positive you can be, it doesn't mean anything if you don't do anything with it. So I'd like to look at sales activity now. In sales, it's not good enough just to work hard anymore. You have to work smart and you have to work effectively. Think of the hamster on his little wheel running round and round, round and round. He's certainly putting in a lot of hard work, but he's not getting anywhere, is he? I want you to be a sales professional. I don't want you to be a sales hamster. So whilst you need to work hard in sales, you need to work smart. And actually, what that means is you need to work relevantly. You need to do work that is relevant to your sales, to your position, to your job, to your company. There's no point having conversations with people who cannot, will not, and are not interested in buying your product. For example, you need to talk to people who are interested. You've got to think about how you can find them. I want you to consider the following questions and ask them of yourself every day. Question number 1. Why would anyone buy my product or service? Really important. Think about it from their point of view. Ask yourself, how does this service or product benefit my customer? What does it do for them? You have to really understand what your product or service actually does for the customer. How will owning it or using it make them feel? What are the benefits? Do you understand what that is? If not, understand it and work it out. And if you can't work it out, ask your customers who've already bought the product what they get from owning it. The next part of this first question is to say to yourself, do you understand why your customers buy from you? Now, if you're not sure, or you want to ask clarification, then ask them yourself. And actually, it's a good idea to do that. Why did you buy from me? What was it you liked about working with me? Because this gives you valuable pointers about what's good about what you do. The other thing is, you can also, if you're really strong and you're really positive, say to them, was there anything I could have done differently to make it a better experience for you? And they will give you positive feedback that you can incorporate into your next conversation. Second question to ask is, who are my target customers? Too many salespeople go after the customers who aren't going to buy the product. You have to find the right people who are going to be interested in your product or service. In other words, you've got to find customers for which your product or service is going to be relevant. And once you know how your product or service will help a customer, it's going to make it easier for you to identify who those customers are. And the best way of doing this is to say to yourself, who would benefit from this product or service? Because the people that will benefit from your product or service are your potential customers. Now, this might be obvious to you, or it might not, but something that salespeople never do is list it out like this. It would make your life significantly easier. So many salespeople target the wrong customers because they simply don't understand what their product or service does for the customer. It's shocking when you think about it. It's really easy to put right. Now you've worked out what your product or service does, you've worked out who would be interested, and now you know who your customer base is. Next stage is to think about how you're going to contact them. So question number 3, how will I contact these potential customers? You have so many options, it's overwhelming. Telephone, email, letters, networking events, LinkedIn, list ends. When starting to contact customers, you've got to try different methods, but monitor the results you get, because what you might think works doesn't, and what you think won't work might. Mix it up and use an element of all of the things we talked about. Now, you've worked out what your product does, you've identified who your customers are, and you've worked out how you're going to contact them. The fourth point is about speed of activity. How can I speed up what I do? Because great salespeople work quickly. They don't work shoddily, they don't rush, but they're quick. And I think of it like golf. Now, I play golf, I'm not a great golfer, but I enjoy it. But I'd like to play quick golf. Now, when I play golf, I take my time over every shot. But in between shots, I'm quick. So I'll take my time when I'm hitting my drive and then boom, straight off to the next shot. I don't dawdle in between shots. And you need to think about that concept in sales. Take your time when you're talking to customers, but in between, be as quick as you can, because speed is the essence of a good salesperson. When the window of opportunity occurs or opens for a good salesperson, they react with lightning speed. And you have to think the same. It's quick response, and then take your time when you're there. Explore every opportunity. Unfortunately, what a lot of salespeople do is they procrastinate in between the conversations with the customers, and because they're so nervous about asking questions or they're so insecure, they rush the telephone call or the meeting with the customer and then take their time before they have to go through the whole dreadful experience again. Enjoy it when you're with the customer. Understand what good communication is. And then rush in between to get as soon as you can to the next conversation. And ask yourself, how can I speed up between customers? And I'll say this one comment which should help. Focus on what's important and relevant, and don't get sidetracked by all the nonsense and guff that happens around you. Because great salespeople are single-minded with their eyes on the goals and the prize. They set themselves hourly, daily, weekly, monthly targets, not only of sales achievements, but of activity achievements. And a great thing to do to start this off is to use our time tracker process. Now that's obviously dealt with in much more detail in our time management training, but actually you can get a time tracker for a free download off our website, where you can email the company and get us to send it to you, and that can help you identify where you're procrastinating, what your time robbers are, what are the things that are taking you away from being successful. Because when you're in, you should be fully on it. If you're taking your time, you're enjoying yourself, then that's not necessarily the best way to be a good salesperson. Now I am of course assuming that you as a salesperson want to be really successful. And one of the things I've learned is not everybody really wants to be successful. And if that's you, that's absolutely fine. But what I'm doing now is I'm talking to the people that want it all. They want to be successful, they want to be the best, they want to have the best quality of life available to them. And that means getting rid of things that aren't important.